Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
You'll see my screen?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Whenever you're ready, Nata.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Not, I'm never sure when you're watching this. But it's good to be here again. And for my last trick, I will show you how to export the maps that we've created on both ArcGIS and QGIS. And I'm going to start, of course, with the ArcGIS because it's the one that we used in the last two sections. And it's a little bit prettier, in my opinion, on how to perform and create the maps. So the first things that we need to understand when we're exporting the maps is that usually you need a lot of effort, more effort to export the maps than to create it, because you need to pay attention to all the details. And if one detail is out of place, the whole map is going to be a mess. And why I'm saying this is because usually when people start doing spatial analysis and creating maps, they don't actually care on how the map looks or what information needs to be on that map. And of course, some journals will accept it, or some reports will be good without some information. But the good standard, the good practice is to have most uh, the most information as possible. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to export those two maps together. This one, that is the alcohol abuse hospitalizations, and this one, that is the LISA, or the local indicator of spatial autocorrelation. They're going to be side by side. We're going to create one that is alone, and then we're going to create one that is side by side. So we can see how to export this in ArcGIS. Okay, so let's start with a couple of things. Can I export the map this way? What do you think? Is it okay to export it like this?
Now we're missing labels, scales.
We don't see labels, we don't see scales, but the most important thing, we don't see the map,
Yeah.
because we do see the colors, but
Mm-hmm.
where is the border? The border does not exist. And we can export this without a border because it can be easily confused, the border here, because it's very light tone of green with the white. And whenever we're exporting, the colors are subjected to change. We can, of course, always try to change the colors itself, but the best thing here is to put a border to make sure that everyone is seeing what is the shape that we're using. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some data, and I'm gonna hope that I have a map so I don't have to download one. I think I do. I always have it. Okay, so this one is the border for the partner state. And then we're gonna go to symbology. We're gonna click here. And I'm gonna go for the black outline. Okay, now this is good. Because now I can see what I'm doing or which map I'm creating is the Paranoi state. Can I put the municipalities back on? I can. Will I? I don't think so. I think this is going to be easier to understand like this. Because whenever I try to put this one, it will make sense to not have the municipalities on. Okay, so let's start exporting this one. What we're gonna do is we're gonna insert and then new layout. I'm gonna create one that is A4 because the state has this shape that is more rectangular. So not the state itself, but in the page it will be more rectangle. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new map. Oh, nope, wrong place. Layout, yes. Let me just something real quickly. Okay, now I see. Hmm, where is it? It did update it, so now I'm a little bit confused. It should be here. Okay, so yeah, the new map is map frame. So as you can see, we have the possibilities for stereo, scene, map one, map two. What we're gonna do is we're gonna choose the map that we created. So now I need to draw the size of the map. And I'm gonna go for this. So now, let me change a little bit. I'm trying to center it, but it's a little bit hard with the mouse pad. Yeah. One thing is that ArcGIS does not work with the arrows on the keyboard. So if you try to use it, you'll do like this. So not gonna happen. Okay, so we have a map. As you can see here, the map frame has all the information about all the maps in this, I'm gonna call it section because it's a map, but there's a lot of maps to be confused. What I want to do is first close all this because it always gets me confused. Usually we don't want all of this to be in the same map. And here's one thing that I don't like about ArcGIS. You cannot choose just one or two to be put in here. Once you create a map frame based on a map, it will bring every single thing. So the best practice here is not to have like this, where you have all the information, the analysis. The best practice is we create a new map. I'm gonna take out the hue shade, and then I'm gonna, nope, select both of them. I'm gonna copy, and then I'm gonna paste. The best practice is to have like this. it's easier for you to control what is going on the map and what's going to be imported into the layout. Problems when you have like a lot of information, like 10 years, and you have one map for each. You're gonna need 10 different how can I call this? ABBA?
Tabs.
Tabs. Yes. You're gonna have like 10 tabs. And every map you put is gonna get it slower because it's heavier. So it's gonna create heavier and heavier files. And of course, it'll slow the speed on generating the maps and even processing the layout. Anyway, um, once you have it, you can always, let me do something here. Let me see properties. Yes. So as you can see here, I have now the element tab on the right. It's not something that it's standard. So we click with the right button of the mouse, and then properties, and it's here. Why is that? Because we can change the map here. So I want it to be map 3. Now it's getting the source from this, not from this. Usually it's good when you have like a standalone map. It's good to have like this background, the topographic map. It helps to understand where it is, especially if you're doing like a country like Brazil or United States, because people are bad in geography and they don't usually know where those states and countries are. So if you're working with uh, Africa, South America, Asia, even Europe, you it's usually a good practice, the first map, to have this background. The other maps are not. You don't need to put all of these in all of them. I personally don't like to put it all of them. I do like to have, especially the analysis with a blank background, but it's up to the researcher. Anyway, the ArcGIS offers uh, in standard these backgrounds. QGIS doesn't, so you need to do some magic to be able to do that on QGIS. Okay, so now we have it, the map, the background, the source, as you can see here. This source is the source for the background. So the topographic map has a source, and you need to disclaim it, disclosure. What we're going to add next, what we need to add next. The first thing that comes in mind. Nothing. Yes, perfect. So what we're going to add now is a legend, because you can have it um, the map, but without a legend, it doesn't mean anything. What does this dark blue shade means? Nothing. If I don't know what I'm exposing here, if there's no indication whatsoever, then I don't know. So the first thing that we're going to do is add a legend. And then we come here, legend. We can choose multiple types. I usually just click on the name and it gives me the standard. So I'm going to create a legend that is this size. Of course, it won't be uh, completely or fully inserted. As you can see here, there's a lot of white space. And there's a lot of information we don't want. We want just the scale. So just this one. What we're going to do is in the element section here on the right, we're going to go on show properties. And you can see here there's a show. Take out the layer name, and then take out the headings. You're gonna end up just with this. I don't want this one to be in the same uh, category of this one. So we can create two different legends. It's easier. Let's do the following. I'm gonna remove this one. So now we have only the legend. Is it okay to put it like this? Yes. Is it pretty? No. And we want it pretty. I mean, we always want it pretty. So let's do some transformations. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here on placement. And the position is always upper left. I want it middle. And go straight to the center. And if I do this, it stays in the center. It's not close to the border. It makes sense to me to be like this. So there's a couple of things that I usually tend to do when I'm working with a map like this. So the first one is let's trim down this whole set of numbers. And sorry, does anyone want to say something?
No.
Okay. Um, so the first thing is gonna trim this numbers now because it's a lot of numbers. We don't need it. I'm gonna go here on the map, alcohol abuse hospitalization, symbology, and then I'm go here, advanced symbology options. And then there's format labels. In format labels, the decimal places, I only want 2. So now it's only 2. We can do it manually here and change the label, but the other way is much easier because it does all at once. Okay, so now that we have it trim it down, the layout already has it like this. Other things that we can do is if we push it up a little bit, then it will spread a little bit on the page. So you can choose to be like this one. You can choose to be like this one. Of course, there are 5, so um, it's not gonna be very aligned. So 2, 2, 1, which is not a problem, but some people don't like it. So we can try to do something like this. This one is good. It makes sense to show it like this. But one thing for me is very upsetting. Can anyone point it out what is upsetting me here in this legend?
We don't know if it's an incidence, if it's a raw value, what the value is, because there's no legend.
Yes, but that's not what is upsetting me the most.
Okay.
Does anyone know?
I don't know. I was thinking if shouldn't be like a how do you say that? Color scaled.
Continuous
But
color scale.
how you
A
build the map
continuous color scale? We can do that, but
is
do
not
you
like
see that we can barely see this one?
Okay, now I'm upset.
It's very hard to see from the distance. There is something like, it's not white, but it's very light and it's very hard to see, at least for me. I have glasses. I'm blind. So I can't see it. But for me to be able to put like a square here in the legend, the municipalities would appear here and I don't want it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add something. Change here side. I'm gonna click here and then I'm gonna add a polygon, a rectangle, and I'm gonna zoom in so I see it clearly. And then I'm gonna create it. Now it makes sense. So those little details seems like are not important, but once you try to publish, they are important because the editors will ask for that. I had more than once asked to complete, like, put these rectangles here because they said, oh, it's a dark color, but we wanted to have it because people will not see it and will get upset. And I'm like, for what? For what? Upset about what? But it is upsetting when you can't see it and you can't seem to understand what the map is saying. So now that I have it one, all the other ones are the same size. I just need to be sure that I'm positioning it right. So I'm just copy and pasting. And then I'm gonna put here. And then I'm gonna copy and paste. For some reason didn't copy, just paste it. That's okay.
And while you're going through that, just to be clear, you were saying like the not manual, like normal way to do that would be to put the borders on the thing, but then it would put borders in between each municipality, which would make the figure ugly like we saw before. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
So there's some
Sometimes
cases where that might work, but because of the unit, the granularity here, it doesn't make sense, right?
exactly. So I don't want the municipality borders here
Uh-huh.
because I want it to show more like it's a cluster than uh, a real state with municipalities. I want it
Right.
to feel like it's a cluster. And this way I can see clusters. I can see this whole cluster, this whole clusters. It feels like a cluster. So that's what I want to show. So that's why the appearance of the map is very important because what I want to show needs to be here. And I can do whatever I want to show whatever data I want. So everything on the map is intentional. Nothing's accidental. I'm gonna create a t-shirt with this phrase. So
Yeah, that's a good
it's a
phrase.
it's a good phrase, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna group because I don't want it to be, whenever I move the legend, I don't want it to move just the legend and leave the rectangles behind. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a name and put in the information that we want. That's the second most upsetting thing that was missing. We can obviously use this one to put the title here. So let's see. Alcohol abuse hospitalizations. It's not very good because it's always aligned with the starter and it's very hard to change it to the middle or whatever. So what I tend to do is I write it outside the legend itself. That means that I'm gonna have a rectangle text and then I have the text that I want. Alcohol abuse Hospitalizations. Is it spelled wrong? Oh, okay, no. I'm gonna do the same. I want it in the middle. Not gonna work like this. It doesn't matter. Then I'm gonna go to text symbol. We can change the font. I'm gonna say with Tahoma, I just want it bigger. So I want to auto apply because I like to see straight away. Position, middle. So now there's a title. Alcohol abuse hospitalizations. And then it's still not saying everything that I want or everything that I need. I'm just gonna put this a little bit down. This one just a little bit. And then I'm gonna add another one. Right down. And in this one, I'm gonna say hospitalization rate by 100,000 inhabitants. Let's go to the next symbol. The battery is running off. Let me put it here. I find it. Yes. I don't want it to be that big. Yeah, 12 is a good one. And then I'm gonna go for this and this. So now there's a map that's saying almost everything. So it says what it is, alcohol abuse hospitalizations. It says that is a hospitalization rate by 1,000 inhabitants, and it gives me the different values possible for each color or each stratus. Okay, so now what is missing is some information about technical things about the map. So there's two things that are mandatory: the north arrow and the scale bar. You can choose to put it whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be on the map itself. It can be like here on the white part. That's fine. It just needs to be on the map. It needs to be somewhere. So let's start with the north arrow. You can choose which one you like. I don't usually go for these ones because I feel like they're ugly. But that's my opinion, of course. I usually go for these ones because those are prettier. And I usually tend to put on the upper part of the map. So either here or here. I'm
That's
putting this
automatically oriented, that's on. It's automatically pointing the correct way. You can't put it the wrong way, right?
Usually, yes, because it's linked to a map.
Right. Okay.
So the map frame is this one, and then the type is true north. I can have the magnetic north, and then it changes a little bit. And I can go for the map north, and then the true north. In this case, the map north and the true north are the same. So yeah, it's very hard to mess this up. If you do, please send me an email with it. I want to see it because it's very hard to do it. So here you have it. It doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be like, oh, I won't need to see the north. No, you don't need it. It's okay to be this like small. It doesn't need it work like this. It needs to be bigger, of course, but it doesn't need to be like this. A size like this, it's just enough because you can see it. And then the scale bar. You have a lot of different ones. For this one, since we're working with Brazil, I'm gonna go for kilometers, but you can choose miles, and you can choose if you're publishing in bilingual journals that publish in Portuguese and English, you have miles and kilometers. We tend to use just one. It's better visually, but you can have both. So for this one, I want the double alternating scale. I'm gonna go for this one. And then I'm gonna create this here. Of course, I can change it. So this one is, of course, kilometers. The label text, I don't want it to be write down kilometers. I want to be like this because it shortens down a little bit. It can be after the bar or low center, whatever. I'm putting after the bar. I like it. And then I'm gonna change the divisions. I don't want 4 divisions. This one is just fine. And then subdivisions. 2 are enough. Okay, so this is a map that we can publish. This is something that it's easy to publish. I just want to move the map a little bit up. So I'm gonna press Q. And then change it a little bit. Like this. Because I don't want it to like be on top of anything. And then I'm gonna change this one to this side. Just because of the background here. I don't want it to be on top of any municipality name because it's harder to see. So this one is a possibility. Okay, so now we're gonna export because we need to save it. And then click export layout. So share, export layout, and then it gives you properties. There's a lot of different ones and a lot of different file types. This is good because usually you don't have a standard one when you're submitting to a journal. They can ask for BMP or EPS or JPEG or PNG, SVG, chief, PDF. Usually when doing a map, it's always vectorized formats. So PDFs or SVGs or EPS are the ones that you want. But sometimes you can choose to put a JPEG. Resolution, at least 300. You can try to put it down, like 200. Journals won't accept it. 300 is the standard. Quality, you can compress, so you can choose to diminish quality until a certain limit. And it gives you a very smaller file. I, of course, want it to be as good as possible, so I'm going to choose the max. And then I want it to be saved on not this one, we have a folder for this. Yes. So I'm gonna call it map 1. And by doing this, I'm gonna export. View export the file. Ta-da! As I said, it's easier to see here and here. Everything's in place. This one is a figure 1 type of thing, or figure 2 if you choose to put another one prior to this one showing the place where it stands. So this is a possibility that is very, very nice. Still there. Oh, okay. I lost you for a second. I was like, where is my zoom? Okay, so I can't seem to. Okay, now it makes sense. Yes, so there's a lot of, I just saw the comment that João Vitor put in the chat. Sim Papers is a zoomed out map of the country with the state or unit of analysis highlighted, then figure B focus on the state unit itself. For figure 1, yes, that's what I was gonna say. Usually for figure 1, we tend to put like the map of the state and then where it stands in the country and where it stands in the whole world. Sometimes it's useful to be like this because if you're doing like Barna State, people from the United States won't know where it is. And if you're putting North Carolina, people from Brazil won't know where it is. So it's useful to have it. Okay, so now let me try to figure things out again. So now that we have this one, I'm gonna go to QGIS and show you the exact same thing. And why it's so different. Just a little bit, yeah. Does anyone has a question or anything like that?
Is it open?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nathan, please, that caption you have there, below on the right, where does it come from? What does it say actually? Because I can see it from here. If it's essential or if it's manual or automatic.
Okay, yeah. So let's go here. This one you mean, right?
Yeah, this one.
So whenever you're using a background that was not made by you, you need to disclose the sources. So it is mandatory. And in this case, ArcGIS put it automatically, and it's impossible to take it out.
Can
And when
you
I say
move it?
impossible, it is impossible. You can try to like change it, put something on top of it, yes. But
Well,
to
I mean,
take
for
it out
example,
completely,
it's like, it's kind of conflicting with that municipality's name. So like, I would
yes.
like to shift it. Is that possible?
No.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Yes, I know. But there's no possibility. I've tried many times. Of course, that sometimes I just don't know the way to change it, but I've never seem able to change it and put it in the other place. It's always on the bottom right of the map because usually is where it's cleaner. In this case, not. What we can do is try to put just a little bit up. And then it's not conflicting with anything. But still, it's very frustrating sometimes not to be able to move it, because you can even choose it or something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, it is mandatory and you can change it on ArcGIS. It may have a way, but I'm not familiar and I've tried many times. Okay, so let's go for QGIS. What I want to do now is I'm going to insert the file here, the shape file. Alcohol abuse shapefile. Let me produce a little bit larger. Yes. So now I need to redo the. Did I save the project? I'm not sure if I saved it. No, I did not. So we're gonna have to do the symbology. So let me do it real quickly. I want categorized. I want ray 1. I want to classify. Oh, not categorized, graduated. I want natural breaks. I don't want it trimmed. And I want it to. I want this one. 5. Okay. So this is very close to what we have on the other one. The color is a little bit off, but that's okay. What I'm gonna do is remove. I'm not gonna remove it completely, because in this one on ArcGIS, whenever you're putting like a map on symbology, you have the possibility to fill an outline and it's going to be the same colors. We don't have this option here. Because if you try it here, the stroke color, you need to change it manually. So you can have solid line, no line, dash line. So you need to do it one by one. Let me do it real quickly. Okay, then this one. Okay. And I'm just doing this because sometimes we really want it to be like very detailed, because it's a lot of work to perform this analysis and you want it to be pretty, not just functional. Because again, you're saying everything you want with the map. So it needs to show who you are as well. I'm very judgmental towards maps, as you can see. So now we have it. I'm gonna add the Parana state. It was there, yes. So the same thing that we did with the other one. I'm gonna go this one as well. Let me see if I have it. No, I don't. So no brush. Okay. Okay, so now we have it. It's almost the same map, a little bit of differences on the colors and some municipalities that change. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Now what we're gonna do is we don't have the background. Okay. So let me let me download it. Base map. So ArcGIS is like it's not a truly open source, but you can create packages for it. So you have plugins that you can create and put it for people to use it. One of those are the base maps. So base maps are the ones that allows us to put base maps. So once I manage and install this plugin, I go in, here, and then I want S3, and I want National Geographic, probably. Weird, it's not something that I usually do. It's not letting me to, but there's a way to do it. I'm not gonna show you this time. I'm just gonna show you how to do the exporting file. So we go on projects, and then we go to new print layout. We put it a name, so alcohol. Oh, let's put map 1. As you can see, it's the same thing. The difference here is that the arrows work, so it's easier to align. First thing is we want to add a map. I'm gonna put it as close as possible from the other one. As you can see here, I can change it. I can expand it. I want to hidden properties. I want it in a frame. So it has a frame for this one. Okay, starting to look like the other one. Now we're gonna add the legend. It behaves almost the same. I want to unclick the resize to fit content because I want to be able to change it however I please. And differently from the other one, I need to remove or ignore the things that I don't want. So let's change it, the legend items, from synchronized to visible layers to manual. And then this one, I'm gonna delete. This one, I'm gonna hidden. Click it with the right button. Okay, so now this one's a little bit different because if I do this, not gonna work. You see, it just vanishes. So what I want here, columns. I wanted 5 columns. And then I want split layers. And I want equal column width. Position, I'm gonna put it here. The same, it's not gonna move like the one in ArcGIS. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like this and then put it here. So starting to look the same as the other one, because of the time, and I'm gonna put the rectangles in all of them. I'm just gonna put it on one so you can see it. And then I'm gonna change the style. And I don't want no brush. So let me change it. To this one because it's easier and it's the first. Okay. Now we can see it looks the same. What I'm gonna do now is add a text. Just like I added on the other one. Laudanum Ipsen. I'm gonna go for alcohol abuse hospitalization. And then I'm gonna change the font. I want the size to be 28, no, too big, 22, 21. Yeah, 21 is good. And then I'm gonna put here. This one, let me change this one a little bit down. And then I'm gonna add another text. Oop.
Nathan, as we're running out of time, maybe you can show us how to export the
Yes,
figure and then open for question as is this the last session?
of course. So this one's a little bit different. Let's export this one. We go on layout and then export as image, as SVG or as PDF. Let's export as image. Oh, no. Yeah, map one. I'm gonna call it map QGIS. You can export the resolutions. I'm gonna open file after exporting. Now it's saved.
Nice.
Okay, so this is it. This is how you export on QGIS as well.
Mhm.
I hope this Spatial Analysis 101 was useful for you, for all of you. Do you guys have any questions that I can answer right now? Anything?
Yes, I have one. First
Yes.
of all, thank you for the presentation today and for all the sessions that you had. It's going to be great material for folks to learn in the future as well with the recordings. But my question is, so for you are, running your project, you did your analysis, you tested different maps, you exported the figures. How would you go, how'd you say you should go about saving the project overall in order that this is reproducible in the future? And is this something that is possible both in QGIS and ArcGIS?
Can you repeat the last part? So you were asking about saving the whole project?
Yeah, if you can save the, how would you recommend either to save the project itself and the files? And also wanted to know if this could be, if you sent the whole folder to someone, they are able to rerun everything that you did, something
Yeah.
like that.
And
Okay,
let
okay.
me underline the importance of Joao's question. So let's say Natan just finished this, and let's say he's been working on this paper with Gemini, and he's offered this fantastic new job as a recently graduated PhD, and he's going to another institution. He's going to be really busy. We're submitting the paper, but he's probably not going to have time to make changes requested by the reviewers. So it's
Yes.
really important that he hands off those materials so that
Mhm.
somebody doesn't have to completely start from scratch, right? So
Yes.
it's super critical to do this. And Natan, how should we do that?
Okay. So a couple of things. Yes, you must save the whole project. You can save both on QGIS and ArcGIS. It just go on save and save project. It's going to be the same on both of them. When you save the project, the file is going to be from the software. So it's going to be either a QGIS project or a ArcGIS project.
Mhm.
Perfect. And it's going to have all the things inside. Another thing that is important is the files must be in the same folders as the project.
Mhm.
Because if it's not, it will, of course, run if you're using the same computer. But if I just send the project to João Vitor without sending the files, it will run the project and gonna say, okay, so this file is missing, this file is missing, this file is missing, we're not gonna be able to open. So you need to send everything. Usually, just send to someone, you put everything in one folder. You can have like multiple subfolders, and then you create a RAR file or a zip file, a compressed file, for two reasons. First one, because you need to uh, diminish the size of it, and second of all, because if you mess up the shape files, it's gonna ruin everything, and the shape files will only stabilize to send to someone if you use a zip file. So you need to compress it mandatorily to save or to send a spatial or a shape file. So you save in the same folder everything from the data sets, the shape files, everything, and then you put it in the same folder as the project file, and then you zip it and send to someone or put it in the cloud or whatever. That's the best practice that we have. And yes, it is very useful to do this from the beginning because it makes easier along the way.
Okay. Anyone has other questions for Natan? If not, you always know where to find Natan. He is very responsive, and I'm sure he would like to get more people into the GIS cult,
Yes.
more followers. But anyway, join me in thanking Natan for this amazing presentation and amazing sessions on GIS. Thank you so much, Natan.
It's a pleasure.